Alright, so want to do the introduction at all?
No, go ahead, Sasha.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is a community seed ball workshop, and we're going to basically put together little seed balls, and they'll be hands-on for everyone, so you got to get your hands dirty. And the whole idea with this is to be able to plant mass amounts of area or really dried out soil or even during drought conditions. And the seed balls themselves are pre-planted, so you have your seeds inside a safe mixture of clay and compost. And after about 3 to 5 inches of rain, you're going to be able to watch these seeds germinate out of this little pre-planted housing. And as it rains more and more, the seeds will establish themselves on a vast area. So you can take all the seed balls you create and scatter them at about 1 square foot. That's about the minimum planting distance you want for a properly planted area. And then as it rains, about 3 to 5 inches for them to germinate, you'll see these little housings break apart, and watch as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many acres you have is planted with either perennials or whatever you want to put in there, basically. So
what's the advantage to just going out and directly planting later on when it's raining?
The idea is that you can mass plant, and if it rains just a little bit, say you throw your seeds out and you're like, oh, it's raining, and you throw your seeds out and it plants, and it rains for about 5 minutes and you don't get enough rain, then your seeds might get wet and germinate a little bit and then end up dying. Or the other main reason for these seed balls is to ensure that you have good compost around the seed, and that pests can't get at the seed as well. So yeah, so if you have animals or birds that come in and eat seed, you can mass plant 3 to 4 acres and nothing comes up, and it's really frustrating if you spend $100, $200 on seeds and everything gets eaten. So it's a great way to deter pests. If you have clawing pests, another way to do this is using
Clawing pests like
any
rodents,
kind of like
you mean?
rodent that would burrow or that would work its way inside the clay. You can put chili pepper or any kind of other natural pest deterrent to keep them away from eating or munching through or clawing through. The first thing we're going to do is filter this compost through this mesh to make sure we have a nice fine material. And then we've already pre-soaked our clay. But the ratios that we want to work with today are 1 part seed, which we have here. We have clover, some catnip, and just some mixed in annuals just for the heck of it. And then we have some Rhizobium inoculum, and this is bacteria that will form a symbiotic relationship with the root nodules of the clover. And this will help to fix nitrogen out of the atmosphere. And this is required if you want your nitrogen fixers to actually fix nitrogen. So we'll mix this in as well. The general ratio is 1 part seed, 2 parts compost, 5 parts clay, or 3 parts compost, sorry, 5 parts clay, and 2 parts water. So we'll just kind of mix this all together and see what happens. So we'll just start filtering this out. And then we'll throw the clay in after. So this helps us get rid of the wood chunks and a lot of the larger aggregates that we don't really want in there. This is the part I'm going to cut out. If you get tired of doing the up close, you can pass off again or anytime. Alright, so that's good. And this stuff, you can just put on the side and use that later for the garden.
So what is the origin, like, how do you define what you were just, is this the best soil you can get, or what?
This isn't soil, no, this would be compost that we're using.
Okay, so get some compost is the first instruction, right?
Yeah, basically just these are the 3 base materials: seeds, compost, and then of course you need water to mix them with it. The best clay is powdered red clay for this, but the base materials are compost, the best you can get, always best clay you can get, which in this case would be red clay, and then seeds of your choice, basically.
So would that ever be compost mixed with soil, or just like absolutely just plain
just
compost?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's real compost, you don't need to mix it with soil.
Can you buy compost? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can buy compost. The best thing to do is to make it, though, so you know that it's real compost, or buy it from someone who makes real, biologically verified compost.
You're going to have a class on compost?
Yeah.
Good.
So the next thing we're going to do is add this Rhizobium. It's a bacteria that, like I said earlier, forms a symbiotic relationship with the root nodules of nitrogen-fixing plants. In this case, it's a pea veg, basically a legume variety of seed. So we're just going to mix this in. You can get rid of this netting now. And this is nice, really fine material here. It's just bacteria in a clay, what would you call it? Like a clay
Carrier.
suspension.
Clay
Carrier, exactly, yeah. Alright, so that's in there. We got quite a bit of compost in there, but that'll work with the clay. Alright, so now we're going to add a bit more clay. We already had some in there just to get it nice and hydrated. So as you can see, it's already kind of mixing together. The consistency you want is the consistency of bread dough. So once you've mixed it all together, if it's a little dry, just add some more water. And add some more clay. It's like making mud pies when you're a kid, basically. Really, really easy. There we go. Okay. Is that, let me just grabbing that spade, that little hand spade. Great, thank you.
I got it.
Got it. I need a bit more water though.
Okay.
I'll drain the rest of the stuff off first, just in case, but... So right now we're just getting the right mixture, the right recipe.
So you're not making nutrient soil surrounded by clay, right? Are you mixing it all together?
Mixing it all together, yep. Getting it all mixed in. So that outside layer dries out a little bit, even if there is some compost in it. And then the inside actually dries out as well. So it's a little moist, but you want to dry it all out so that they keep. And they keep for a very long time. If they're stored in a cool, dry place, they're like little time capsules with seeds inside of them. And so we're just mixing this together, and then we wait 24 hours for it to dry, making sure that most of the moisture is gone. And then it's ready to broadcast. And like I said, it's a minimum broadcast density of about a square foot. That's how close you want them together, depending on what you're planting. But for the most part, you want to broadcast shrubs and ground cover, that kind of stuff.
A little bit.
Hey guys, yeah, just a little bit more. That's good. That's plenty. That's great.
Hello, guys.
Hey, hey.
What are we doing here?
Making some seed balls. Want to get your hands dirty?
Yeah.
All right, get your hands in there. We can use a little more compost in there too. So let's want to throw this netting on top, and let's do one layer. Put that over.
Yeah, so let's recap and tell them the percentages and stuff.
Yeah. So what we're doing is mixing in about 5 parts clay, 2 to 3 parts compost, 1 part seeds, and 2 to 3 parts water. And so we're just filtering this stuff out so that we get all the wood chips and bulky material out so we can make some nice fine seed balls. And we mix it all together. And the key is just getting the consistency of bread dough. So as if you're baking, you're making a mud pie. Same idea. And once that's all mixed in, we pinch off about a 1 to 2 inch piece of this mixture. And then roll them into medium-sized marble, or that larger size marble, but not the largest size marble when you were a kid. If they're too big, the water won't hydrate them. If they're too small, they'll completely dry out, and it won't really work the way it's supposed to. So that's good.
Can you say the numbers again?
Yeah.
The proportion.
5 parts clay,
Clay.
1 part seed,
Seeds.
2 to 3 part compost.
Compost.
Make sure that it has nice biology in there.
Yeah. Clay,
And-
compost, and seeds.
And then water to hydrate it,
Yep.
and that's usually 2 to 3 parts water on
Yep.
average.
When you say 1 part seed, do you mean you're having like a little, like a half teaspoon of seeds or something in the center of it, not just 1 seed?
No, 1 part seed's like the amount that you're mixing in with all the other materials. So we mixed in 5 parts of this by ratio, 2 to 3 parts of this by ratio, and we'll mix in 1 part of this by ratio. And what we have here is a lot of white Dutch clover. And so we're just gonna scoop this out and just start mixing it in. The best way to mix this in is just to pour some in. So I think we'll just grab it. Thank you. Yeah, just pour that in.
Tell me when.
All right. That's good. And then if we want to open up, you guys want to open up those guys?
All of them?
There you go. Yeah, just rip them all open. They're a little tough to open. Some of them aren't properly snipped on the side, but you might have to use your teeth.
Are some of these seeds more aggressive than others? Vis-a-vis each other?
In terms of each of their function, they fulfill their own niche in what we're doing, so they're not really competing with each other, no.
Okay.
The clover acts as a ground cover and a nitrogen fixer. The catnip is a herbaceous layer, and it's a perennial pest deterrent. Squash will vine out. May end up choking out the catnip, but I'm not too worried. It's going to be a lot of seed balls and not too many squash seeds in there, so just throw it on there. We got some broccoli too, just because we had it on hand. And we'll mix it all in.
Catnip.
Catnip. Super
Bring the
fine
cats
seeds.
around.
That's another great way to plant these really fine seeds. These can be kind of irritating to plant if ever you've planted really small seeds before. Doing it this way really ensures that they're in a safe housing. Animals won't eat them that easily, and pests won't get at them.
Would that work for celery?
Anything, as long as it's in the right environment, as long as it's not planted in sand or thrown on top of sand, as long as it's in the right environment for it, it should work, yep. Alright, so we're getting there.
How's the consistency? You want more water or anything?
It's kind of bread doughy. It's pretty good.
Some dill?
Yeah, I've got some dill in there too. There we go, yeah.
What's dill good for?
Dill is a great companion plant, and it's also delicious.
Now, would you be planting this in a bare field or an already, like a grassy place, or what?
Pretty much anywhere. I've seen people do it on cracked earth. I've seen people do it in prairie. You can pretty much do it anywhere. Like I said, as long as you're not planting into an environment that's not going to grow anything once they germinate.
Like right here, Sasha?
Yeah, see,
Yep.
all this is pretty dense grass, so these seeds would actually take in this grass?
It depends. If you were to plant the seeds here by themselves and water them every day, if they wouldn't come up, then no. But if you find an area where it's lower ground cover, and you plant some squash in there, it's hit and miss. I can't guarantee, because nature is just funny like that. It really depends on the conditions. But for the most part, this is good for open acreage that has maybe not quite this dense in some areas, but a lot of this grass is choking out the ground or any other new growth. But yeah, it helps to experiment.
So when you're planting in like Kenya, like your thing said, or a bare earth, I'm assuming the compost and the clay create enough.
That's your environment.
Yeah, to make the seeds
houses
go.
Exactly. Yeah, it actually gives nutrients and provides a.
It's like an incubation
Starter.
chamber.
Yep, you got it.
A little egg.
Little egg.
Yeah.
You need a little more of the clover, actually. If you want to dump a little more of that bag in there.
So how is it that the material is moist,
Awesome.
but I guess not moist enough to start germination?
Yeah, it pretty much dries out for the most part.
Okay.
And just as this, where is it? Just as this Rhizobium inoculum
Yep.
that we used for the clover has a clay carrier in it. This is kind of the same idea on a
Okay.
larger scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say if it takes 24 hours or a little more to dry, won't they kind of start softening and start to germinate, and then they'll harden up again when they dry out?
They may soften a little bit, but I've never cracked one open while it's drying, so I'm not too sure. But it works. Yeah, it takes about 24 hours for them to dry out before you can broadcast them. And then you're set. As long as you get 3 to 5 inches of rain, it's the key for germination on average. And anything less, we'll just wet the clay a little bit, keep the seed safe, and then after 3 to 5 inches, and then irregular rainfall after that, you'll get your organisms or your plants growing. And the nice thing is that that the compost we're using has a lot of correct biology in it, so we're actually inoculating the earth while we're doing it, getting the right biology in the ecosystem. Okay.
So this will be on YouTube. You don't have to remember it all. We're gonna post it on YouTube, so you got it all. Good. I've already forgotten the proportion.
Yeah, it's alright. Let's do a little more compost, actually.
Okay.
5 parts clay,
Yeah, 5
we're
parts
ready to
clay,
go.
1 seed,
3 parts compost, and then just add water.
water till the consistency of dough.
Yep.
Dough.
Red dough. A little more.
So say it again.
There we go.
What is it?
Just think of this: 1 seed, like
Yeah,
1
1
ratio, 1 part seed. 1 seed, 5 clay,
5 clay,
3 compost.
1, 3,
And then-
5, all odd numbers, right?
Yeah, 1, 3, 5. There you go. Fibonacci sequence.
Too big.
Yeah.
Way too big.
About the size of a marble.
Yeah. So what you're gonna do is we'll mix this last little bit of compost in and we're ready to go. We're gonna pinch off 1 to 2 inch size loaves.
Kim's good at that.
I'm gonna edit that part.
Yeah. All right. Got a little bit of wood chip in here, but that's fine. Quick. All right.
Did you already add water to get the clay going?
Yeah, we soaked the clay previously. I usually use red powder clay. Red clay is supposed to be really, really good for this.
Let's say if you're in another part of the country, where can you find red clay? You go to some sort of farm
We
store?
didn't use red clay. We just used clay out of the ground, which is really the best way to do it, using local clay. But I guess red clay, I'm not sure what the deal is with it. It just seems to be the favored seed ball clay. You can use cotton as well, so that it holds moisture once it gets wet. And so you mix in a little bit of
Oh, you mean actual cotton fabric?
cotton fiber, if
Cotton
you want.
fiber.
Like
Instead of
like loose cotton, raw cotton.
instead of what?
You just add it in.
Into this mixture.
Yep, you just add
Yeah,
it in.
but you said instead. I mean, what's it replacing? What could it replace?
Oh no, I mean like instead of just having just this base recipe, you can add that stuff in.
Oh, I see. And that does what?
It holds moisture in.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright. There we go.
This is pretty much what an animal's digestive tract does.
Yeah,
When
right.
it eats seeds.
Exactly.
That's a
Yeah.
good point.
So that's
You're
why.
a little bit of mimicking nature right here.
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
I mean, that's what.
So
the
can you
greens
feel
got.
the seeds?
Can you feel them? A little bit, yeah. You can see them too. Little clover in there, and then let's see. Anything else thrown? No, I think we're good. All right, so we can all start. If you guys want to get your hands dirty, so what we're gonna do is pinch like a 1 to 2 inch piece off. About like that. And then you just roll it. It's like when you're a kid and you like to throw mud balls at people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing. Same idea. And what we're gonna do is get it so it's like the size of a medium-sized marble. Not the small one, not the big one. If it's too small, it won't work. If it's too large, it won't work.
You haven't mixed all the
Put
seeds
a,
in.
give us
No,
the idea.
no, those are
there's
my-
an
that's-
ideal
that's
one
my,
right there. Is
um,
Garrett's ideal right there? That one?
Yeah, more or less. It's a little bit on the big side, but it works, you know? Yep. You guys got the general idea?
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think, about inch in diameter?
Yeah, about an inch.
An inch?
Yeah.
And you're just gonna let them sit there?
Yeah, we'll start lining them up. That's my clover repository. I use that for all kinds of stuff, so I just use a bit of the seeds. Yeah, so about like that. A little less than an inch in diameter, I guess. About an inch in diameter.
Does it
So
matter
a
what
little
you
bit.
dry it on?
Okay.
No, in the sun works. Outside.
So you actually want to dry them before you throw them?
Yep.
24
Yeah.
hours?
Because what happens is they're like time capsules that way. They wait
Whoa.
until about
You've done this before.
3 to 5 inches of rain. hydrates them again, and so they won't start germinating until a real rainfall hits. It's almost like they know when like the real rain happens, and they won't kind of germinate and then die from a drought or something like that, you know.
Okay.
And I was telling them earlier, you can use chili pepper, or like chili flakes, or anything else that deters pests to keep them from digging in there. But for the most part, most animals won't dig in.
And how much chili
clay?
pepper would you put in?
Just feel that. If you have a lot of pests, a lot more chili pepper. Or if there's not a lot of food or seeds.
In other words, it's not going to impact the seeds one way or the other anyway, so it's not going to, doesn't even matter how much you put in, it's not going to hurt them.
Yeah, I haven't really experimented with putting chili pepper around seeds or around new growth before, but I'm guessing that too much might negatively impact it. But
my fingers.
Yeah, just feel it out. A lot of this is just kind of guesstimation and trial and error.
Where'd you learn this from?
Trial and error.
Fukuoka. And trial and error. Fukuoka is one of the pioneers for this. I didn't learn directly from him or anything like that. Fukuoka, he's a Japanese permaculture designer. Kind of before permaculture existed, he was doing this stuff. He was mimicking nature. And
how do you spell his name?
It's Fukuoka or something like that.
Japanese?
Yep. You can just look up One Straw Revolution. One Straw Revolution, that's his book. And that'll give you everything about seed balls and the technique.
Peter Swan was very influenced by him.
Yeah, yep, definitely.
I'm glad you remind me of his name.
And he has a lot of videos on YouTube now too. He went to Greece and did a large, what would you call that? It wasn't bioremediation, but it was reclaiming a lot of dilapidated land on the side of a Greek hillside using seed balls. And in 5 years they converted dead earth back into a thriving 7-story food forest using seed balls.
No kidding.
Yeah, they used a whole team for it, but they hand broadcasted too. They just walked out in, army style formations and just hand broadcasted the whole area. And then when it rained, they rebuilt using early successional species, aggressive successional species, and then after the second rain, they came in and did more sensitive species, and then just slowly built it up like that. Alright, so this is the quiet part. Let me just make some chat.
So basically, you just throw these on the surface of the soil, and the next time it rains, they'll germinate.
Yep,
they're ready.
Yeah, 3 to 5 inches. Oh. If it's a really light rain, they won't do their thing.
If it doesn't rain at all, will they do anything?
No, they'll stay encapsulated and safe, and then in the spring they'll thaw out again. Yeah, so you can leave them over winter.
And these must dry for 24 hours?
Yep, these need to dry out. And we can even make them a little bit smaller too, just to experiment to see which way works better. So if you guys want to make some slightly smaller ones, slightly larger ones, just play around. So this is could probably be this is about the size we want to go for. See how it's a little bit smaller than the rest of them?
Yeah.
Just that size right there.
I'll take some of these big ones.
Yeah, you can break some of the big ones in half and make 2 or make 1.5 kind of.
Where are you going to broadcast these?
You guys can take some with you if you want and experiment. And then we'll broadcast a lot of them in the food forests and some areas that aren't quite as densely overgrown as what's behind us.
How's that one?
Basically that size.
A little bit smaller.
Yeah, a little smaller. I'll leave you guys a little test one each so you can get the right feel for it, but it's not perfect. It's kinda... There we go.
What kind of seeds you got in there?
I got clover, catnip, dill, broccoli. I've got some rhizobium bacteria in there, and some good compost, good thermic compost, and chives. We got chives in there? Awesome, we got chives in there too. And squash. Cool. You guys want to get your hands dirty. Jump on in. Feel free to take some with you too. White Dutch clover for ground cover. So about that size. Okay.
This dog looks like what my dog used to look like.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's like, is it a Jack Russell Terrier?
She's kind of a mutt, but she's got a rat terrier in her.
Yeah.
Did you say rat terrier?
Yeah, rat terrier, part rat terrier, part circus.
Part circus animal.
Yeah.
You'd think they were sisters. Or is it a boy?
She's a she.
Oh, she's she. Yeah, that's what my dog used to do.
Her name's Fern.
Fern?
Fern, yeah.
Oh.
12 years
Just give me a
old.
little test.
And she looks like
Yeah,
my
that's
dog's
great.
name was Nipper because she was all
You got it.
white with black ears. And there was Dalmatian in her.
Yeah.
I know it's really fun to watch the
Really
dog, and
love
she's
the
having a
idea.
lot of fun. But it's gonna kind of interfere with the audio. So it's just
Oh,
like,
okay.
if you could like relieve him.
If Sandy gets off this table, you guys are going down, by the way.
Uh-oh.
It's already, I can feel they're lifting up.
Yeah? Well, maybe I'll just take a step off. So yeah, we can start doing some smaller ones.
Okay.
Like about yay now.
All right.
Yep.
So you're doing different sizes to experiment, huh?
Yeah, different rainfall, you know.
This is fun with two cameras because you don't have to worry about jostling everything when one person
yeah.
moves around. I've never done it.
You know what, Sasha?
that?
I wonder if, like, there's melon ball thingies.
Melon balls? I've never heard of those.
Yeah, so there's like this tool for the
Oh, for
kitchen.
making melon balls.
Like
It's
if
like
you
a
make a
miniature ice
melon
cream
ball.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I wonder if, well, it would be
Scoops?
with a tool, but not your
No,
hands.
tools are great. I love tools, actually. Right tool for the job is the best thing ever.
That's right. Well,
Um,
if you learned that one, Sasha.
Yeah.
Your double digging tool.
That's right. Yeah, it's amazing. We double dogged that whole garden out there in probably about, what, like 35, 45 minutes?
Oh my God.
Oh,
Instead
yeah.
of,
He's got this
instead
tool,
of like
it's
4 hours.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yep.
The broad or the.
No, these are awesome. The only
Broad
thing I was
fork.
familiar with before this is cheese balls.
You could use a measuring spoon though, and then start scooping them out.
Yeah.
You get like a standardized size. Yep.
I worked in a bakery.
He probably wouldn't have any.
you
You'd
got
probably
the
have
technique,
less
huh?
air
Made a lot of
pockets,
donut holes.
like handling them with your hands.
Big, but-
Possible. Yeah.
Okay, these are really small.
Oh, whoa.
Well, that's really small.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Too small.
So it's a little it's a little small. That one probably will germinate very quickly, which is fine too. Actually, make a couple like that, and we can see. If you want to take like a couple different sizes home, you guys, and just throw them
You
out.
could do a percentage, a gradiated percentage, and then they would.
Keep it simple.
They would
Yeah, right. I think that's an anti-permaculture statement you just made.
What's that?
Oh, the gradiated percentages.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just teasing. We usually just kind of fly by the seat of our pants. But no, you're right. Yeah, we are kind of doing that right now. We're making working our way down from the different sizes, and then we'll just check them out.
Garrett, how'd your guana sale go today?
Well, we didn't sell out like the other 2 weekends at the market,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, people got their fill.
pretty much. Yes, it went well then.
Awesome.
Iguanas.
Guano.
He collects guana
Bat
from
poop.
Maddox and Barnes, and he sells at the farmer's market.
Okay. I was like,
Is it good to
you're
eat?
selling iguanas?
Depends what you're into.
You know. Okay.
Oh, cool.
I'll buy some.
Yeah, guano. It's the best fertilizer you come across.
How much?
Well, we got a good price for you, my friend.
How much you want to spend?
Yeah.
What is it, $2 a bag?
What do you have?
$4 a bag.
$4 a bag?
Get 4 gallons of fertilizer out of it.
Gallons.
Yeah, I used it last weekend. It's hard to tell if it's working yet.
Takes a minute. I even put root stimulant on one of my fruit trees just to see what would happen, just for like the hell of it.
Yeah.
No difference.
Yeah.
Yet. Yeah.
Okay, can I lay the first one down?
No, you gotta let it,
So, I've heard seed balls being made in tumblers. What's that approach?
It's much faster. You use like an old drum, 55-gallon drum, or a smaller, I guess, depending on the size of your system, and lay it on its side, and you cut one side out and put mesh over it, and then you angle it just a little bit, and then you put a little motor under it with, little wheels or a little pulley system that keeps it spinning. Or if you're in a really tough area, you just hand crank it. Yeah. But the mesh keeps it from falling out the backside, and you leave the other side open, and then you just add your materials in while it's spinning. So you add your seeds, you add your ratios in, and then it forms as it spins. It forms different sized seed balls for you.
So and then is your mesh large enough so that the balls start to fall out thereby?
No, the mesh keeps everything in. Once it's done, you basically
So the
harvest
side
it.
the input side you mesh close with a.
Yeah, the input side. Oh no, sorry. The back of it you mesh, and then you just have one side open. Yeah. Keeps the materials in as they start mixing around, and you put a slight slant on it, and then if the slant was, I guess steep enough, they would roll out. Yeah.
I mean, why doesn't it just form one big large basketball? Why does it form little seeds?
Aggregates. It just forms smaller aggregates as it spins, and depending on how much water you add, I guess, and how it's all in the technique. But I've seen I have a blueprint for one actually that someone sent me, and then there's a video. If you go up online and look at seed ball machine or something like that, you'll find.
Love to try a little experiment with the tumbler.
Yeah, it'd be really fun to do that.
That seems perfect. Just got those spikes that'll break up.
Yep.
And then just roll them on. It's 10 foot long.
Yeah, that'll make quite a few. So as you can see, we've made a number of seed balls. We're going to keep working for a little while, but this is a quick little permaculture technique for mass planting an area, especially if there's irregular rainfall. It's great for protecting against pests, and it's fun. It's like playing with mud or making a mud pie when you're a kid.
So we've basically
That's it.
done it. You just let them dry and store them just as long. You can store them for years in a bucket and go out and...
I think it's about a year or two, yeah. And, you wait for about 3 to 5 inches of rainfall and you're set. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If everybody would just applaud or at least grunt or fart.
Seed balls. Seed balls.